leaning, there we go, which is where I'm leaning, because this book is so unusual, that those themes, if you have a second to jot those down right now somewhere, I think it would be smart. We'll add to them as we go. We're only in chapter 4, but already these are some of the themes that are making themselves known. Holly?
This really reminds me of Maleficent and how you think she's like the evil character all your life, because you know you grow up with Sleeping Beauty and whatever, and once you see this movie you see a completely different side, and like you really don't think she's evil. And I feel like this is the same thing that's happening, is that Grendel is being depicted to be some kind of monster, but you know, he's innocent and he has like this body that he doesn't know what to do with, and so, you know, he's scared, and I feel like he's not really the monster, but everyone makes him out to be just because, oh, he's big and scary and, you know, terrifying. I don't really think that that's the case.
Right.
I think that possibly Hrothgar, right?
Yeah, Hrothgar, yeah.
He could be the monster.
Well,
as
they have
well.
something in common. They both kill things,
Mhm.
right? And Hrothgar's like purpose is to kill Grendel, because that's why, I mean, Beowulf's purpose, sorry. Hrothgar brings Beowulf there, and he's like, because Beowulf is this like well-known hero, and they bring him in, and like, we've got this monster we've been trying to kill for like 12 years. We need your help. And so, I could teach a whole semester on like villains, Frankenstein, Dracula, Grendel, right? From their perspective. Just a, you know, a point of view perspective, really.
That would be pretty cool.
Marnay?
I think also like, well, what it makes me think about is like, it doesn't matter even like which opinion side you're on, like, there's always a monster. And like, I think it's really interesting and really cool to actually see it from his point of view, because like, yeah, in the movie they're all like, no, kill the monster, he's so bad, he like comes in and he slaughters us. Well, in chapter 4 and like 3 and kind of, he's trying to explain how like the humans do that. Like, they went in and they slaughtered things wastefully.
We've been doing that since the beginning of time.
Exactly. So it's like, so Grendel sees them as monster, but he knows he's a monster as well. He knows he's a monster, he knows they're a monster. So it's like, I don't know, from his point of view, I think it's like actually more fairly seen, because he knows what he is.
Yeah.
The humans are trying to disguise themselves like we're heroic.
That's a very good point. You know, if you think about your U.S. history, which you've all had, the Indians, you know, we came in and pretty much slaughtered them, took their land. It's very historical. And this even goes back way before that, you know, Viking times. Yeah.
I disagree just a little bit, because
Good.
I think, like, as far as Grendel knowing he's a monster, I think it's sort of like, it's more of a self-esteem thing. Like, like if people treat you like you're nothing, then eventually you just start to believe that you're nothing. And it's kind of the same thing, because I mean, if you think about it, like, he's a completely different being than humans. So, and I don't know, I think it's not really fair to compare him to humans, because like, if he were a human, then yes, he would be a terrible person, but he's not.
Right.
It's kind of like us, like, comparing us to, like, I mean, pigs or cows or stuff that we slaughter to eat.
Right.
And, like, we're monsters to them,
Right.
but we're completely different, like, species.
There's a good argument there, you know, when you say pigs and cows, and people say, you know, there's the whole side of humanity that doesn't eat meat, who are like, how can you kill an innocent animal? I think, right? And when I think about it, it's gross. You know, when you think about how
It's how we
that
do it.
steak got on your plate?
If you research the slaughterhouses, they're disgusting.
Do what?
But they're ruthless. Yeah. That's
Slaughterhouse,
probably-
what'd you say?
Slaughterhouses
Oh,
are
yes, they
awful.
are.
And the companies that
Yes, they are.
The way in which they do
CEOs
it.
and
Like
stuff,
Purdue,
yeah.
chicken Purdue, that's like, no, we're all natural, no, you're not.
Tyson's
No,
awful.
do not lie.
What?
McDonald's, the way they make their chicken.
Tyson's bad.
Tyson.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about Tyson. But, you know, what I'm saying is, we're the monsters, you know, when it comes to slaughtering the animals, it's all a matter of perspective, right? Depending on who, you know, and it's good to be able to see both sides. Holly?
I also think that, Grendel kills because he's afraid and he
Uh-huh.
wants to protect himself.
Fear.
But Beowulf kills because of his own ego, and he, like, you know, he's this great hero that everyone is like, oh, Beowulf, come kill this monster, but if he doesn't do it, you know, his, I guess, identity would be kind of
Well, it's what
ruined.
people expect of him,
Yeah.
and we live up to our expectations, right? Aaron?
What's fiend? Fear.
Fear.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry. It's, I write in like part cursive, part printing, so.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to get it out before it left, because that's happening to me. Renee?
Kind of what Holly said, but another one would be ego. I feel like we're not gonna get to that until later on in the book.
Right.
Until Beowulf comes in.
Right.
Yet, we could even look at a point of like the people's ego, because
Yes.
Hrothgar, his ego,
Oh.
like it was saying something like he had, once he conquered all his 6 neighbors, like he would like send his men with like wagons so they could fill it up with gold and like praise them.
Oh, yes.
So it's like he's feeding his ego because he's used this power and like by slaughtering people, by being the monster.
And you can tell about his ego, even by the way they treated women back in that time. I mean, these Viking men really thought they were something, right? So, it's getting more interesting. Hang in there for those of you who are struggling, and try and see the bigger picture, you know, some of these themes, and I think that might help you stay focused. I think Gardner was getting at all of these things through the use of animals, an animal, which is kind of what Orwell was doing, but he's a very different writer than Orwell, for sure. Anything else from chapter 4?
Sorry, to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's fine,
Like,
no, I'm,
Yeah,
Say that again, Maddie.
the like feeling he gets in the weeds or something that he thinks is like watching when
Yes.
you don't
Do you,
know about it.
do you think that's real? Do you think that's paranoia? Do you think, thoughts on that, Aaron?
I think it's kind of too early to tell if it's a feeling or if it's actually something, or if it's just paranoia.
maybe he like wants it to be there. Like, I don't know if it's like real or not, I can't decide, because yes, someone could like be studying him, but then again, like, he could be wanting to think of something, seeing him, because nothing does.
Okay. He's like a little kid trying to get someone's attention. Okay, I need to give you a reading assignment over the weekend. How about just chapter 5? It's average, it's a good sized chapter, okay? All right, you have a good weekend. See you later. What was going on, Paige, back there?
I'm sorry, I'm